Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again in this YouTube astrological segment. I'm going to be talking about transit Chiron conjunct Natal Midheaven. Now, when we're talking about transits that involve Chiron, they can be about physical and emotional wounds, healing, helping, suffering, anguish. It can be when you have this transit conjunct your natal midheaven. Well, it can manifest in physical and emotional wounds, helping, healing, it could be suffering. Uh, it can reflect ways that we can help others that we have trouble helping ourselves. Remember that Chiron is the wounded healer. It could be matters pertaining to one's career. If it's in Aquarius, for example, it could be some astrological or astronomy career, something with innovation. As some examples, the midheaven is also the stature in life. We might be going through some suffering with that. Maybe there's sorrow or some kind of despondency connected with where we are in our life, where you may be stacking up with others, but we may be able to help those in those areas that we're having difficulty in. Now, the midheaven is also connected with the dominant parent, which is often the father. So it can be a time where there might be some kind of, there may be some suffering in connection with the father, whether the father in some cases might have, or the dominant parent in most cases, which is the father. There might be some cases where the dominant parent may be succumbing to some kind of a physical injury, or maybe the relationship might be strained with this person. It might be somewhat contentious, like if it's in Aries, for example. It could be one that maybe is actually rather combative or contentious. There might be some issues with that, but it could be some kind of physical related problem as well that the dominant parent may be having to contend with. Um, it might be something too. I mean, the midheaven is also associated with authority and authority figures. It could be trying to attain a position of authority. You might be encouraging other people uh, that to attain some kind of position of authority in their life, and but at the same time you may be going through some emotional wounds in matters pertaining to authority figures, whether the connection, again going back to the contentious thing, there might be a situation with an authority figure that might be contentious, that may be something where you're not feel compatible with this person, where there's some discord. Uh, it might be something where the relationship is strained. It can also be a time too, because midheaven is connected with responsibilities. That with Chiron, the fact that it can indicate suffering, it can be where you might feel inundated with responsibilities at this time, and it might be wearing you down. Um, it can also be healing others, perhaps in matters with those people and their responsibilities, encouraging others perhaps to take care of whatever responsibilities they need to, or you might find yourself being more responsible for others and taking care of their responsibilities, but you may have difficulty in taking care of your own. Remember that conjunctions in astrology can be neutral. It's very intensifying, integrating energy. They could have good and bad aspects to it. They may manifest positively and negatively, but a lot of it can be predicated and dependent on the aspects that it makes to other points in your natal chart, whether it may be expressed more positively or negatively. The midheaven is also connected with notoriety, status, and recognition. So it might be a time where you might actually be getting some kind of notoriety, status, and recognition as a healer. It could be, say, if it's in the Zodiac Sun Cancer, it could be something with home renovation, remodeling, home improvement, um, some kind of home restoration, roofing, siding. Maybe it's something with cooking or culinary work, or being a home caregiver. Uh, it can also be at this time, and you might be really doing, you might find yourself having to be that healer, for the dominant parent, which is often the father, or older people at this time being more caring than usual for those people, more so than what you were accustomed to. Midheaven is also connected with our reputation and public image. So it can be a time where some may be going through some despondency or dejection in matters with their reputation. Sometimes it can be some kind of slander. Let's say, for example, I'd say especially like if this falls in Gemini or Pisces, it can be something where somebody may be victimized or having to dealing dealing with some kind of slanderous lie that might affect their reputation adversely. Another thing too, it can be getting a reputation for being a helper or a healer at this time as well. Say if it's in Pisces, it can be somebody that might be like a spiritual healer. Midheaven is also associated with achievements and accomplishments. So it might be a time where you might be, maybe achievement or accomplishment you may reach or attain at this time may be connected with doing things that might help others, that are things that are beneficial to others. And again, if it's in Pisces, it can be something with spirituality. It can be, say if it's in Aries, it might be like being like that speech therapist or somebody that helps somebody with that issue with that. The midheaven is also associated with government, politics. There can be some issues that might be government related, that might be causing some kind of suffering. It might be some kind of restriction or regulation maybe you have to adhere to that might be causing some kind of pain or sorrow, emotional turmoil. And the fact that the midheaven is also associated with politics, let's say politicians, maybe there's a situation with some political figure that might be problematic, where there might be animosity toward this person or a contentious situation with one. I would say too, I mean, the midheaven is also connected with success. So it might be a time where you might be attaining some success as somebody that is some healer or some helper. And the thing is, going back to Aries again as an example, it might be somebody like in speech therapy or even some physical therapy perhaps. Midheaven is also, I mean, I would say it can be associated with structure and discipline. Remember, midheaven is is connected with, I mean, we look at this as gaining, maybe at this time, it might be healing yourself in some cases by gaining more structure and discipline, ones like being more responsible. I would say especially if transit Chiron is actually retrograde, because that could manifest in more self-healing. Now another way this can manifest and pan out, the deepest wound that somebody may face during this time may be connected with their stature in life. It could be their reputation or public image. Now let's take this in Aries as an example. It could be a reputation maybe for being combative or quick-tempered at this time. Another thing too can be, this could also be expressed in helping and healing the older people, the dominant parent, which is often the father, authority figures. Say if this falls in Aquarius as an example, it could be flavored with a lot of altruism and selflessness, maybe doing something even innovative or finding innovative health related techniques or methods for these people. And there may also be physical issues that might be going on with these people that are mentioned. What I'm referring to, of course, is the dominant parent, which is often the father, older people, even authority figures you might have some kind of compatibility or rapport with. I mean, if it's in Taurus, for example, it might be something with the throat or the neck or the thyroid area. Aries, it might be something with the head or something with the face or some kind of inflammation. Uh, Now, hold on a moment, people. Now let's say it could be something where there might be emotional suffering that might impact accomplishments and achievements at this time. Let's say this falls in Scorpio as an example. Maybe there's some strong psychological issues in some isolated cases. It might be something with PTSD, which of course also known as post-traumatic stress disorder, which might affect the ability to make certain accomplishments, attain certain things in one's career. Uh, it may also be about diminished self-esteem or self-worth. It could be due to lack of stature in life or success in one's life. Say if this falls in Taurus as an example, it could be lack of persistence or perseverance. Um, it could be in one's career, in a Taurus-like career, or it could be something connected with the lack of success in a Taurus career, such as being a stockbroker or a banker, working in finance, pawnbroker, working in gardening, cultivation, architecture, some examples, agriculture. There may also be a feeling of some ineptitude in getting recognition and notoriety. Now, if it falls in Gemini as an example, it could be through perhaps writing or some communication field like data or satellite communications, or doing something that requires strong manual dexterity, something like auto or refrigeration mechanics. And also, too, sometimes this could be about physical related wounds and suffering and problems that might affect your responsibilities. And um, if this is in Aquarius as an example, it could be something with the ankles or the shins or lower legs, or there might be some unusual health situation in some isolated cases, like something like I think it's called hemiparesis or something similar, where half the body is immobilized basically or paralyzed, but of course that would be very remote or something very isolated, of course. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, people, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.